Oh, and there was another thing that happened when I was a young child. I was out in the garden of the little flats that we lived in. We lived in the bottom of a block of flats. And so I was out in this garden, and there were enormously high fences as far as I could see, on which my mother would lean to speak to the neighbour next door. And one day I was just playing out there, trying to make perfectly spherical balls of clay, and a great roaring occurred in the air, very loud roaring, and then suddenly the sky was filled with a silver surface, the bottom of the Zeppelin that was flying over. And at the time, the radio my father had made was sort of broadcasting about a big football match which was due to occur very near. And they were announcing that the President of Germany was on the Graf Zeppelin that was flying over. So it just occupied the entire my visual space between the two fences as it came. And so anyway, that was quite an interesting memory. These two books were prizes that I was awarded by the headmaster of the junior school. The first one's called Stirring and True, or whatever that was, little true stories. And in it, the headmaster had written, "To Clifford Boar for good painting, good history notebook, and good conduct. I'm sorry it isn't about aeroplanes, it shall be next time. E.T. Cook, 19th of October 1938. He included 2 photographs of flying boats in it. Now, how he'd come to know that I was interested in aircraft, I don't know, but I must have described it somehow. The other one was the next year. This one has got a London County Council sticker inside the cover. St Matthias School awarded to Clifford Boar for good work. Second place in class, E.T. Cook. 29,639. And what was it called? Aircraft of the World. So for some reason or other, they'd heard that I was interested in aircraft. But that was of course, that was the last prize I got there then, because only a few months later we were all evacuated to Northampton. On the 3rd of September 1939, we were all listening to Neville Chamberlain speaking on the radio. And he announced that we were now at war with Germany. And shortly after that, the air raid alarms went off. They actually went off over pretty well the whole country, because at that stage they hadn't worked out to do it only locally. But later on it turned out that it was a false alarm, because a British aircraft had been seen somewhere over the Thames, and they thought it might be a German one, so that was a false alarm, that one. I have got this letter here that I wrote home on the 27th of November 1939. That was not all that long later. Do you want me to read it? So it said, "Dear Mum and Dad, I got your last letter this morning. I won't forget Nan or you. I'll write to the others. Only last night I was thinking of Pat and Bub. That was the dog and the cat. We've not had one air raid warning except the one we told you about. I've got about 14 shillings in the money box. Have you got my cactus? If so, will you water it once a fortnight? Please. I've got plenty of socks here, I've finished making the 16-inch model of an aeroplane, and I've started making the 20-inch model now. I have got not only one aeroplane but two. The first was a very good monoplane, and the second one is a larger model and a biplane, 2 wings. I said I'd choose between an aeroplane and an RAF suit for Christmas. Now I've already got an aeroplane. The answer is ready for me. Please may I have an RAF suit for Christmas? Auntie was pinning up some curtains and her frock caught up on the acro, which was on the table, and she said it glided to the ground. Oh, the aero, that must have been. The aero, yes, which was on the table, and she said it glided to the ground. Because she thought she'd broken it, she brought a game of table skittles as compensation. Well, I must close now. I hope you're all quite well and happy, like us. Good luck in job hunting, Dad. P.S. Nanty hadn't broken the aero after all. P.P.S. I won 6pence for marks at school from the teacher. With love from Cliff. X. There was, yes, one cigarette card I came across showed a Hawker Hurricane, and it was designed by Sidney Cam, it said. And I said, I'd like to be like Sidney Cam, design an aeroplane. It was so. Little did I know that. Was it now about 11 years later? I might be working underneath him, and then for something like 15 years, I worked eventually from his desk. At the time, I just felt that was a thing that they ought to do. About a couple of years later, I felt that maybe I should consider joining the Air Force. But that was when I was about 7, I think. And but when I was 8, I thought, no, pilots only steer the things. I'm going to be an aircraft designer. And so that's what I stuck to as my objective.
Some of Cliff's technical aviation achievements included: in 1953, he devised the first, now commonly used, method of calculating metal fatigue life, dramatically improving the safety of aircraft. The next year, he was researching into supersonic aerodynamic flow over 3D objects. This gave his redesign of the cockpit canopy of the 2-seater Hunter the quietest cabin in the Air Force, and a top speed faster than the single-seater Hunter's world speed record. On the strength of this achievement, Cliff was made head of aerodynamics research at the age of 26. During 1961, he was concerned about wing stalling on a newly designed wing for the Kestrel to be one of Hawker's first vertical takeoff aircraft. Cliff designed a wing that would ensure safer and more efficient velocity distribution. The design was so innovative that it was rejected. Only 6 of the projected 18 Kestrels were built because of the poor manoeuvrability of the wing design used. So in 1964, Cliff's innovative wing design and new air intake cowl principles were used for the Harrier. This gave it higher controllable manoeuvring at both high and low speeds and at high loading than any previous aircraft. 4 years later, Cliff was asked to design a trainer aircraft, at that stage called the Goshawk. He designed the overall layout and selected the engine. He also included his novel swept wing shape with vortex generators for safe, fast and intensive manoeuvrability, coupled with increased landing safety. There was a decision to rename the new trainer to its now more familiar name, the Hawk. The Hawk has been supremely successful worldwide for display flying and providing many tens of billions of pounds of UK exports. Since 1979, the well-loved RAF display formation team flying these Hawks has been known as the Red Arrows. From 1969, Cliff was highly instrumental in getting Airbus resumed to enormous worldwide success. In 2005, the wide-body version of Airbus made its successful test flights.